Welcome to this week's WWE RAW Recap show brought to you by RP2 Division. Now here is your host, Ronald Ray.
Hello, ma'ams and sirs. As you heard my intro guy say, see, I got intro guy now. Sounds a little robotic, kind of like a robot and the movie trailer guy. Anyway, as you heard him say, this is this week's Raw Recap show. I'm your host, Ronald Ray, your boy with a cornbread accent. Anyway, this week's Raw starts off with the Judgment Day and the OC having the honors of this week's Let's Do This Right Here, Right Now segment. Judgment Day hits the ring, and of course they brag about, particularly Dominic Mysterio, bragging about how he pinned AJ Styles last week, even though there's a little bit of shenanigans. Major heat points was earned by Dominic Mysterio, claiming to be this generation's Eddie Guerrero. He actually went a little bit further and claimed that Eddie Guerrero was the Dominic Mysterio of his own, Eddie's generation. This, of course, brings out AJ Styles and the OC. AJ pretty much tells Dominic that he's more of this generation's James Ellsworth than he is Rey Mysterio. This sets up the match between Carl Anderson and Finn Balor. Rhea Ripley was the one who got to shine in this match. They all start fight on the outside of the ring. AJ with Luke Gallows fighting against Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Luke Gallows was able to get the big boot on Damian Priest. Turn around, start celebrating. From behind comes that devil woman, Rhea Ripley. Ripley would shove Gallows into the ring post, then picks him up for a scoop body slam. With all this melee going on, it distracts the referee, which allows that devil woman, of course, Rhea Ripley, to come in and give a nut shot to Carl Anderson. This was able to help Finn Balor get the big W. Next up, we have a long segment here, or it felt like it was long. It felt like it lasted forever, with The Miz. This started backstage with Johnny Gargano and The Miz, as Gargano wanting The Miz just to tell the truth about Loomis and why Loomis is stalking and attacking The Miz. We take a commercial break. When we get back, Miz demands that the camera people put the cameras on him instead of the NASCAR drivers. As the cameras now face The Miz, this gives him the opportunity to tell his truth. Of course, this provokes Gargano to come out again, and they start arguing. Again, with Gargano demanding The Miz to tell the truth. And speaking of truth, Charlotte's own R-Truth comes to the ring and also demands that The Miz tell the truth. And of course, Miz starts knocking Charlotte, North Carolina, and R-Truth will not have none of that. He don't want nobody dogging the food in Charlotte, North Carolina. And only one way to settle this, we're going to have a match right here, right now, with The Miz and R-Truth. They start going at it. Miz gets the early advantage. The Truth comes back to shine some because Miz for the advantage. The Truth then comes back using the John Cena comeback. I guess he used the John Cena comeback button, hitting flying Road Warrior style shoulder tackles, hits a body slam, goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but then gets blocked by The Miz. The Miz starts to strut, and he calls out for the finish, saying this is done. However, Miz gets distracted by a man dressed up as Loomis on the outside in the audience. This allows R-Truth to sneak behind, give him the schoolboy roll for the 1, 2, 3. The hometown boy, R-Truth, picks up the win in this match. The man that was dressed up as Loomis was not Loomis at all, though. It wound up being Johnny Gargano. He's coming a little sneaky man, ain't he? Up next is some more backstage shenanigans, particularly a sit-down interview with Candice LeRae, saying pretty much everything's happening so fast. Go from NXT to her and her husband expanding her family, and now on Monday Night Raw together. She knew it was going to be rough, but she had friends like Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair to support her every step of the way. Then out comes Damage Control, and you know what's going to happen there. They're going to be up to no good. Argument ensues. Bayley shoves a cameraman down, and you hear them putting the beating on Candice LeRae. Oh no, we're backstage again. Oh wow. This time Elias and Riddle have a little talk. Elias is playing to Riddle that he doesn't like it being interrupted, but since Riddle was friends with his brother Ezekiel, he'll give it a pass this time. Of course, this allows the Alpha Academy to step in and interrupt themselves. Of course, Elias tells him that he don't appreciate it too much. And how about him and Chad Gable get in the ring and let Chad Gable figure out why the WWE stands for Walk with Elias. I'll get it out someday. Next up, we have a match between Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali. First, we start with a pre-recorded segment. Who cares? Anyway, both competitors come out, but before they start, Seth freaking Rollins comes out. Crowd playing sing along with his entrance music. Now the match starts off, and this was a good one. I don't know. When I read comments about Austin Theory, I feel like he's been a little underrated. I mean, this kid's timing and ring skills is this thing is highly unappreciated, especially within the internet wrestling community. Anyway, Mustafa Ali is no slouch himself. Anyway, the other advantage went to Theory using nothing fancy but kicks, punches, and chokes. The kind of moves you would want a heel to do if you want him to get booed. Theory, however, does try to get fancy, goes for a top rope move, and gets met with a mid-air drop kick. Theory, though, will get the advantage back using some more dirty, cheating moves on the outside of the ring. Theory, though, can't help himself but to distract himself by taking a bunch of selfies. This allows Ali to take control, gets Theory on the outside, goes to the top rope, 450 from inside the ring to outside the ring on Theory. Theory, though, takes over after a failed 450 inside the ring. Theory seems he's a little distracted again with himself. This even causes Rollins to say, hey, get after him, let's go. Anyway, Ali gets another shot at securing a victory by blocking the ATL from Austin Theory, nailing him with a backstabber. Ali, though, gets distracted by Rollins, who tries to enter a ring, and this gives Austin Theory enough time to set up and give Ali a kick off the top ropes and hits him with an ATL for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Austin Theory. Wow. I think this was where did I read? Was it 13 or 14? God, that light's bright. 13 or 14 matches now that Austin Theory lost in a row, and now he finally picks up one. Good for him. More backstage shenanigans. Yay. Anyway, Miz is not happy with Gargano. Gargano comes face to face with JB. Oh gosh, sound like a 13-year-old. Gargano comes face to face with JBL and Baron Corbin. JBL, of course, reminds him that he won't last long in JBL's generation, the Attitude Generation. Which I don't know. Gargano was pretty entertaining in this show, but way too much. Anyway, so I don't think there's too many lies being told that Johnny Gargano will probably be carrying JBL's bags. Anyway, flashback to Omos, and Braun Strowman. They got spit it out. And of course, a big shout out to The Rock and his movie Black Adam. Next. Now we have another match with Omos and 4 dudes. The biggest takeaway for me is seeing 3 guys who usually wrestle in Georgia and other independent promotions in the Southeast. They being, I don't know if you can see my mouse. I don't know if I record my mouse there. That's Michael Shane. That's Luka Daniels. Michael Shane's in the stripes, singlet. Luka Daniels in the yellow trunks, and Sal Rinauro in the blue trunks. Luka is more of an up-and-comer. Sal here is really a true standout. Great in-ring work and very, very entertaining. If you ever see him on a card, you gotta check him out. Michael Shane, he very solid worker himself, but that wasn't enough to combine it. I don't really know who the other guy was, but anyway, their skills plus some other guy who looks like could be MJF's brother was not enough to handle the big Omos. That's it. Anyway, Omos picks up the W here, and we go on to our next segment. Oh my gosh, 2 matches in a row. Jeez. I can't believe this. Anyway, this is Chad Gable against Elias. Gable scores with some takedowns and used some solid wrestling skills to take the early advantage. Otis is outside the ring talking a bunch of trash. Also, Gable's talking a little trash at Elias as well. But Elias comes back and he shows he's got some skills too, with some headlock takedowns, backslides, some more headlock takedowns, and throw in a suplex for a 2 count for a near fall. But Otis would do some interference. Whatever. Giving Gable a little advantage. Gable would hit a top rope headbutt for 2. Come back for Elias. Then they start trading lefts and rights. The finish saw Gable throw Elias to the floor. Otis attempts the splash against the ring post. Elias moves. Otis eats a whole lot of ring posts, which then Elias hits back to the ring, gives Gable the big boot, then hits the drift away for the 1, 2, 3. Elias is the big winner of this match. After the match, though, the Alpha Academy team up and attack Elias. Music hits. Out comes Matt Riddle to make the save, clearing out the Alpha Academy. Stays in to check on his brother's buddy, or his buddy's brother, Elias. Make sure he's okay. Holy shit, either I skipped a backstage segment in my notes, or we actually got 3 matches in a row. This one being Barry Corbin versus Johnny Gargano. Corbin, of course, has an early shine using his size and strength. Which begs the question, why is Gargano even in this match? Shouldn't he be in the hospital checking on his wife? Kind of would make sense in the real world. Hey, this is wrestling. Who cares? Anyway, Gargano comes back with his speed and skill set and has Corbin on the run a little bit. But Corbin does answer back using his power. Giant Wrestling would have another comeback in his back pocket, but I think he might have got a little too cocky and thought he would taunt old JBL. This would be a big mistake as JBL would distract Johnny Wrestling, resulting in Corbin hitting the end of days, earning himself the W. And yes, between that match and here, we did have a backstage segment again. Miz gives Gargano a car, but doesn't sign it or leave him any money. That cheap son of a bitch, Miz. How rude. Anyway, of course, Bianca says she wants revenge, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Now we have the main event. And that main event is a non-title match. Make sure everybody knows that this was a non-title match. We'll have no idea why you got to emphasize that this was a non-title match between the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and Bayley. They start out old school style with the lockups and filling each other out, but Belair will use her power to take an advantage over Bayley. Bayley will come back though and work in the arm. The effects of her working arm will show when Bianca tries to slam Bayley, and you see the arm is hurt. Bianca will make another comeback though, and the fans reacting to it pretty good, cheering on good old Bianca Belair. Io Sky and Dakota Kai, the other two members of Damage Control, try to interfere, but the ref snuffed it out. He throws them both out of the ringside area, but they argue with the ref. This will allow the return of Nikki Cross to come in, and she just lays everybody out. Everybody. Belair was able to get back to her feet, hit the KOD on Bayley, but there's no ref because during the melee, we have a ref bump. This allows Cross to enter again, putting Belair through the ring post, shoulder first, allowing Bayley to come in and score the 1-2-3, a victory for Bayley, but not the title because this was a non-title match. Gosh. Oh, we're not done yet because Nikki Cross comes back to the ring and lays out and puts a beating to Bayley. She takes a breath and beats her up some more. Takes a breath, beats her up some more, screams, shouts, has that scary look. I take it this is a sign that we have good old crazy Nikki Cross back. And this is how the show ends. Nikki Cross standing tall over everybody. Not a bad show. I can't iterate this anymore. 3 hours is way too long. Too many backstage segments. It's like, can you please just pre-film a bunch of these segments and air them on, your Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page, YouTube page, front page of local newspaper, somewhere. I said this, just it drags. They really do drag. I have a feeling if I'm feeling it at home just watching it, I can imagine what somebody in the stands feel, watching it. I remember going to a SmackDown TV taping one time where they would, just film these segments after segments after segments, take a break. They would have these interview shows, of course, and they take their sweet time bringing everything in the ring, set it all up, do the segment, end the segment, take everything out. It was It was a drag, and this is, SmackDowns were taped at that time, and it was just a 2-hour show. But they seem to last forever. And I don't think anybody really got a clean win in this match, except for Omos. Seemed like every victory has somebody distracting somebody or whatnot. Come on, you got a big roster full of people. It would not hurt to use some of those people as enhancement talent. Have a quick interview, whether it be a heel or babyface. Have a heel get a clean victory over an enhancement talent. Do an interview. Say, hey, you seen what I did to this guy? I'm going to do Miz. Have him in there against I don't know. Who's in the rosters throwing a toilet pole. Or you can use, Dolph Ziggler. They don't really do nothing with him. I think he's on SmackDown though. My bad. Anyway, use somebody. Use some of the talent you have in NXT Developmental Center. That's not quite ready for NXT TV, but at least know how to take a bump, because that's all you gotta do is sell. Just go in there, sell for the Miz. Miz probably let you have a couple moves, and then let the Miz pin you, old school style. Just have the Miz pin you, then look at Johnny Gargano or Loomis or whoever he's feuding with, and say, hey, you see what I did this Punk? This is what I'm going to do to you. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. And that's the end of my show. So if you like what you see here, heard on here, hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. Like I said, I got new entrants, announcer guy now. Hey, I'm trying to move up in the world now of YouTube. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. Anyway, you folks take it easy, and I'll see you next time.